Okay, so this is quite an interesting video, alright, to say the least. This is about hot alien characters, and by the way, these are original characters, but in my world, of course, unlike a lot of other fictional stories that are, involving extraterrestrials or whatever, unlike those, in this story, the word alien is almost never mentioned, right? This is about book 1 of the 11 Keys series set in the Ultra Dale universe franchise, something brand new that came out in late November. Please check out that book if you haven't as yet, and please drop a review if possible. I really appreciate it. But yeah, the word alien isn't used. I'm not sure if I should use the word that is used in the book as yet. I'm honestly not sure, but I think I've pretty much probably coined it, or it's definitely copywritten, right? So I'm just going to say it anyway. Hot spaceling characters, and spaceling is basically humanoid type characters. These are going to be females. These are my list of top 10 most attractive or sexiest or beautiful, whatever word you want to use. This is the list of the top 10 female characters in that regard from the story. Just a very quick briefing here. A lot of the characters that I'm about to show you, this is not actually how they appear in the book, as in the attire, the clothing. This video is mostly about showing you how to draw attractive female poses. Some of these are actually, straight up dynamic poses, but I'm just doing touching on multiple things in one video. So while it is mainly about designing, showcasing sexy female alien characters, it's also about the poses. So follow along and let's get into it. Alright, so just gonna quickly state how I personally decided how the rankings how they worked out, right? Just gonna share my criteria here. So I went with three categories: description, perception, and realism. Now, description is mainly how the characters are described in the book itself, in the Stage Controller novel, how I actually wrote about their attractiveness, I guess. And the perception is how, in the story, how does other characters perceive their beauty, right? And realism is how, if the character was dropped in reality, how would we as as people, as anybody really, how would we react? How would we view that character? And another interesting note here, and this is something that I personally came up with. I don't think that this is a popular thing in tier lists or ranking videos, but there are 10 names here. There are 10 characters, and the way how I do it is the winner of whatever category gets like 10 points. Second place gets 9, third place gets 8, going all the way down. A person who pretty much lost a category or scored the lowest amount of points will finish with 1. And so that is a good way. And then after everything is done, all 3 point sections are added up, and that's how I determined who ranked where. So let's get into it. Number 10, we have Tish Minor. Okay, so Tish Minor is from the first POV. It's a multiple POV story, by the way. She's from the first arc or the first POV. It's a multiple POV that is split into, like, you don't have to worry about alternating viewpoints all the way through. You read one story arc, then you read another. There are 6 of them in total, right? Tish comes from the first one. She's one of the first characters that you will see, that you will read about in the story. And it's going to be the same thing when this eventually gets animated. Tish would be, I guess, technically the second character on screen and the first female character that appears in the whole thing. So she is 4 feet 10 inches tall, of course. Blue skin. It's described as teal blue, but I think that this is close enough. And of course I have drawn her with, she's doing a basic standing pose. Of course, she has a hand on her left thigh, right? And of course, her most attractive feature, this is not mentioned in part 1. Spoiler alert, you might want to skip ahead by like 10, you might want to skip ahead by like 15 seconds after I say the word no. No. Okay, so she will be in the second volume, the second story. So this feature of hers won't be showcased or won't be mentioned that much, but that gap area that, you know, I can't really mention it in this this video as explicitly as I wanted, but that you're seeing it. You're seeing that front area go below her, you know, her pink blouse right there, that area. That is one of her most attractive features, apart from the fact that, you know, her skin tone is magnetic in a sense. So pretty stylish. This is not a personality video, so I am not going to dwell too much on their personalities, but she is quite talkative. Also curses a lot. But she's a funny character. But anyway, that is Tish Minor. She is number 10 on the list. She scored 1 in the description because compared to the other ladies, I did not spend a lot of time or a good amount of words describing her actual beauty, truly. And perception, she scored a 2 in that. And realism, she scored a 3. So overall, she has 6 in the points tally. And Tish Minor, or number 10 on the top 10 hottest female spaceling, aka alien, characters from 11 Keys. Stage controller. Okay, now we get to number 9, Camille Rendon. Okay, so she is pretty much doing the pose that Camille is in. The pose that Camille is in is, of course, she's sitting down on a couch. She has her one arm rest against her cheek, another one right in the middle of between her legs there. Her legs are spread open in an elaborate manner, really seductive, but she's looking at something in the corner of the screen, right? So for this, I pretty much just, yeah, a lot of the poses that I worked with are just they're not entirely from my head. I got a lot of reference images. That's something that you should do as well if you're interested in doing various poses for characters. But Camille is quite quite, what's the word? Like she is bold, but she's not really much of an extrovert, if you yeah, know what I mean. But anyway, as I said, I'm not going to dwell too much in their personalities, as tempting as this is. But she is slim. I Yeah, so she's slim. She is tall, about 5'10", and she is number 9 on this list. She scored a 6 in description, a 1 in perception, a 1 in realism, which lands her at 8 total points. Camille. Okay, up next we have Nai. No, Nai has the darkest skin tone out of any character in the book, in the story, right? So far. She is short, about 5'4", 5'5", really curvy body, well endowed top to bottom. So she is petite, but she is what you'd probably call stacked or thick, even, and of course she has dreadlocks here. She has two horns, almost like ram horns in a sense, and this pose, she's basically standing with her back towards the camera, which I think is a good idea if you want to. I'd like to say this right off the bat. Like, I think a lot of females know this as well, but if you really want to showcase, curves, or like, it's rather than just doing basic front views, I think that a side pose or a partially backward pose is a good idea, right? And for the artists, that's something worth noting, worth remembering. But Nai has scored a 2 in description, a 3 in perception, and a 5 in realism. Some of you might be thinking that 5 in realism. What the way how I view realism is, I look at the way society as a whole, like what do a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? What do a lot of people in the world today, what are they more attracted to in the female body, right? And if it was me personally, I probably would have put Nai more than just 5 for realism. But anyway, that is it. That is Nai. She is number 8. Okay, moving on to number 7, we have Captain Jene. All right, so Jene is she. If you read the story, she might be one of the more likable characters, despite the role that she plays. Um, she talks a lot. She likes drinking and partying and all of that shit. But this pose is one of the more provocative poses out of this top 10 list. I chose these poses at random, honestly. And basically, what she's doing is she's on all fours, right? Showing her, her chubby body and, fat in all the right places, etc., etc. And she is in her mid, like 5'6", thereabout, and she has some weight on her, right? So she's not a skinny girl. She is, like, in reality, should be a plus size model. So Jene's description is 3, perception is a 6, and realism is a 4, putting her at 13. That's Captain Jene. Okay. Oh, and I should mention that. Oh shit, I forgot. Forgot to mention. Camille is in viewpoint number 1, so you will see Camille in the first arc, which is the dropout arc. Nai is in POV 6, so she is the final viewpoint. That's the Predator arc. She's the main POV of that arc as well. And Tish is a close friend of. Tish is a close friend of the MC of POV 1, which is actually on this list. You'll see her soon enough. And Captain Jene is the MC of POV 4, the I believe it's called the Captain arc. She is the main character of that. one. Alice is a crewmate of Jean's, right? Alice, she is the next on this list. She's a crewmate of Jean. She is really tall. She's about six. She's about 6'3", 6'4". Her I guess most notable trait would be her legs, her long legs. Um, she is she has an athletic body, not muscular, but no, she's strong. She takes care of herself, and a a little bit above average bust size. Right, we're gonna get into the BWHs soon enough, right? We're about to get into that, as a matter of fact, as we enter into the top five. But that's the thing with Alice. She has more of a gothic look to her. This is not how she dresses in this particular book. As I mentioned earlier, this is just to showcase some of her better features and her overall, the what I wanted to bring out of this pose. And so, yeah, this is Alice. She scores a 4 in description, an 8 in perception, a 2 in realism, which makes her have 14, just one above her captain, Jean. Alice. Okay, keeping it moving now, we enter into the top five. So we're now moving up the list. You're about to see hotter and hotter designs. So number five, we have Nonami. No, Nonami is in the second POV. That I believe is called the Titan arc. Uh, she is the best friend of the main POV, or one of the best friends of the main the MC, the main POV of this arc. Who, yep, you guessed it, she is also in on this list, but higher up than Nonami. And of course, her design, she has short, dark brown hair. I'm not sure about some of these color schemes, though they are close to what I have in mind in terms of hair color, skin color, eyes and all of that. Nonami, I think her final design, like when the animated stuff gets, when it progresses, I think that her skin tone may be lighter than this one. Maybe, I'm not certain. But anyway, she's pretty much just doing a walking pose. She's walking, she's looking down at something. She is, of course, a titan, and in this world, in Stage Controller, a lot of the titans are like well over 5 meters tall. The way they do their height system, the way how I wrote it is that the way in reality we do like feet and then inches for the most part. I think that there are some cultures that just do centimeters, but the way I grew up and what I'm accustomed to is that someone will say like, "Hey, you're 5 feet, 7 inches tall, or 6 feet 1 inch tall, or whatever." Um, the Titans, their system is more meters and feet, right? So rather than going where we would go feet, they would go meters. Where we would go inches, they would go feet, right? So that's the way how I do it. Even so, Nanami is one of the taller Titans. She is 6 meters and I think her height was 2 inches tall, probably. What? Wait, I just said 2 inches. I mean 2 feet. Yeah, 6 meters, 2 feet tall. I think that's about what 20 feet overall. But anyway, you can work out the math if you want. But that is Nonami, and her bust size. Whoa, well, that would be gigantic, right? So that but if it was reality, I think that her, like, she's a tall girl, right? Her hips, I would put her hips as slightly bigger than her bust or breast size. I guess I would put her at like a I probably gonna need another video, maybe, but I think that I would put her bust size or breast size, or yeah, bust. We're going with bust size at you know what, I'm gonna say BWH. Her BWH, I think, would be 30. I would go with 36, 20, 28, and 37, right? Don't quote, don't this is the when the animated stuff gets done, there would be an official listing, but it's about in that ballpark, I think. But that's Nonami. She is number five, and she scored five in description, four in perception, nine in realism. So she almost finishes at the very top. She almost finished at the top of the realism list, and that is because she is freaking huge. Like, imagine if someone of this height with this body type existed, right? So you might be wondering if you're following closely, especially since I started talking about Nonami. Nonami, and she finishes second in the realism section. You have an idea as to who will be number one, right? But anyway, let's move on to number four, the big one. The big one, right? We have Kimika Kubo. Kimika is one of the first characters I have ever created, I've ever drawn since I started taking character design seriously some years ago. She is the MC of POV 1, the dropout arc, which means she is technically the main character of the entire story. And unlike the other characters, most of the others that I named are in their 20s. Well, Tish's age is kind of weird, honestly. That's gonna be a. I'm not gonna get too much into that. Tish has like three different ages, honestly, and Camille is in her late teens, and the others are like in their 20s. Kimika is the youngest on this list, technically. Most likely, she is 16 years old. I know that might make some of you uncomfortable a bit, but it is what it is. The story is set in the 30th century and it's science fiction, and even in modern society, there are a lot of countries where. But anyway, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. She is, honestly, as she is in a perfect spot on this list, I believe. Right. And despite her being the POV, despite her being my favorite character of this whole thing, she, she cannot rank higher than number four, unfortunately. But she is quiet. She has an amazing body type. She literally has the characteristics of multiple different type of animals going on. So she's. But anyway, before I get distracted, let me just get into what's going on with her design. She is standing. She has her arm up, holding on to a wall or a door or whatever. That's not important. Just the pose itself. So she is showing a lot, and this is what I meant when I mentioned earlier that if you want to showcase curves, you have to know how to truly the angles, the pose, the direction of the camera that you want to work with in order to properly showcase the curves of a particular character and the best features physically that they may have. This isn't an overly dynamic pose, it's just standing, but as you can see, I did what I think a pretty decent job in showcasing her curves from top to bottom. You pretty hot, right? Of course, you can see for yourself what she has, right? I'm not going to over explain, right? But if it was in reality, Kimika at this point in time, again, just given a BWH thing, I think that I would go with like, let's see, 36, 27. But the interesting, the notable part would be her lower body. So it would be 36 ish, 27, and probably probably about 39, I would say. But anyway, Kimika scored a 9 in description, so she almost topped the list with the way how she is written in the book in terms of her attractiveness. So she finishes with 9 on the description list, a 7 in the perception list. So one of the higher perceived scores so far, and a 6 in realism. That is what really hurt her case in ranking higher the realism aspect. I try to be objective, and I've already explained what realism is to me. She scored 22 points, and that is Kimika Kubo. Okay, we are moving on to the big girls right now. The like, if this was the real heavyweight contenders, if this was a boxing match, right? Like, this is real top tier stuff here. We have Roxanne Severance, right? And Roxanne she is in the third arc, the third POV, the first character arc that is primarily told through a male perspective. That is where Roxanne comes in, and spoiler alert, well, just a minor spoiler, right? But she is involved in the only actual intimate scene in the entire series. In the well, not the entire series, well, the entire book, I meant, right? She's involved in the only sex scene of the book. Roxanne Severance. Hello? Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Okay, so that is Roxanne Severance, and she is huge. She is one of the darker. Matter of fact, I think that apart from Nai, she is the darkest skin tone, right? So really close. She scored a 10 in description. Yes, as I said, through the POV of a male character of this arc, the guy, he truly, and the scene that she's involved in, that I think gave her an unfair edge on how and her ranking in the description section, because I was able to just purely describe how sexy she is, how she looks, right? 10 in description, 5 in perception, right? Because there wasn't much of the other characters oohing and awing over her. I didn't get that into the story. Try to keep try to focus mostly on the plot as much as possible. But she scored an 8 in realism. That is third place, right? Only Nonami so far scored higher than her, and someone else who you're still yet to see. But Roxanne Severance, she scores a 23 overall. Her BWH, I would put her, she is stacked. She works, she has a muscular, but it's like a bridge between a muscular body and a curvy body. So she has that going. I would say that her BWH is I will put it at like 39, 20, 29. I would put like 39, 29, and 42. That would be where I put it. But that's Roxanne Severance, number 3 on the top 10 hottest alien characters from 11 Keys Stage Controller. Okay, so we have made it to the final 2 ladies on this list. Okay, so at number 2 we have Elegance, aka Sophie Delsin. That is third agent Elegance. She is honestly the, spoiler alert, you might want to skip ahead to about 30 seconds after I say the word, now. If you want me to just stick specifically to the beauty aspect and why she's ranked number 2, but I'm gonna drop a few spoilers pretty quickly before we get into why she's ranked at number 2. Skip ahead about, skip ahead to 30 or 40 seconds now. All right, so Elegance is the primary antagonist of the Dropout arc. So the main arc, the main storyline, POV number 1, she is the primary antagonist of that storyline. So that means that she is in direct opposition to Kimika, Kubo. And honestly, the fight that's going to happen between Kimika and Elegance, in my opinion, not just because I'm the one that wrote it, I think that it is one of, if not the best one-on-one combat fight, one-on-one duel in fictional fantasy storytelling, right? And maybe top, let's just throw a number out there and say top 50 anime overall, maybe. But anyway, the reason why Sophie Delsin, or as she is more popularly referred to in the story, Elegance, the reason why she is the second, she's ranked number 2 on this list is, let's get into it. Description. So I have her ranked at 8, which is actually third overall, behind, of course, if you've been following or if you remember the points so far, Roxanne finished number 1 in this category and Kimika finished number 2 in this category. Elegance is right there at number 8. It is mentioned in the book as to how attractive she is, how even Kimika, who is, Kimika is visually impaired, but she has heightened senses, extremely heightened senses, and even she has that feeling around Elegance, right? And it is noted that she won the intergalactic beauty pageant when she was just 14 years old. And even though this is a fictional story, that is still a really, really young and rare age to win something as, as prestigious and as wide as that. So that's why she has an 8 in description. She scored a 10 in perception, right? How is she perceived? And to put it simply, the mere fact that this female won a beauty pageant on a galactic scale, that is enough, right? There's no one else in this story that had a similar status, that had a similar accomplishment beauty-wise in this particular world, right? So that is it. Elegance scored 10 in perception, number 1 outright. And in realism, I dropped her at a 7 in realism. Just a couple points. Well, you already know who was number 2 in this section. That was Nonami, and I explained why that was. So the person who is number 1 on this list, in this category, she will be revealed next. But yeah, so Elegance, the reason why she lost out of scoring higher is just because of the absurdity in terms of the overall stature of Nonami and the yet to be mentioned person above her, right? So that is it for Sophie Delsin. I'm gonna get just quickly into her BWH. Again, these are likely not 100% accurate. By the time the animation comes out, or when the second edition of the novel comes out, there will be an official measurement on these characters' heights, sizes, color schemes, etc., etc. But if I were to just go randomly off my head right now, I would say that she's about 5'10", 5'11", thereabout. She's actually 18 years old as well, so a couple of years older than Kimika. And her BWH, I would say, is 30. I think I would go with 38, 27. No, I would go with 38, 25, 38. And so that is it. She scored a 25 out of a possible 30 points. Elegance, Sophie Del Sin. Okay, and now we get to the big one. Literally the biggest female character on this list. As a matter of fact, she is probably she's probably the overall biggest character in the entire Stage Controller novel. She is, well, maybe not the outright biggest, but at worst she is top 5, I guess, in terms of characters revealed in the Stage Controller novel. She is the main character, the MC of the second POV, the second most important storyline in the entire novel. That is a Titan arc, and she is the heir to the throne of that the realm of Titans, basically. She is Taylana Marialny. That is the number one, the hottest female character from 11 Keys Stage Controller. Now, unlike the previous reveals, I am not going to dive too deeply into things surrounding Taylana, right? I think that I may hold a lot of that back for future videos, or when more, I guess. Yeah, I'm just gonna hold a lot of stuff back, because if I give into that right now, this video is gonna end up being hours long, right? Longer, several times longer than where I wanted to go, or how I want it to be right now, honestly. But as you can see, she's gorgeous, right? She is the description. She scored only a 7 in the description part, and that is because she's the main POV, and her, I guess you can say, her story compared to the others, there wasn't much compared to the other female characters on this list, like say Roxanne, who scored 10, Kimika, who scored 9, and Elegance, who scored 8 in this particular category. It just wasn't organic enough to boost or to emphasize on her, her beauty and perception and everything. But if you ask me to just give my own opinion on this, she might have gotten higher than a 7, right? But that's how the story was written, that's how it was published, and I think that even when the second edition comes out, it likely won't change that much. So she scored a 7 in the description. Perception 9. So other characters in the world around her, they know of her beauty. They know, stunning she is. So she scored a 9, second place to Elegance in this category. But here we go. The big one, Realism. So I have been hinting at this for earlier in this video. I think that ever since the Nonami section, ever since I entered into the top 5, I have been hinting at this. Nonami, who scored a 9 due to the fact that I used size. A lot of the reasons why I had Nonami as high as 9 in the Realism category pretty much applies to Taylana. But of course, she has a lot better, or based on how society perceives beauty and shape and all of that, she has it even more than Nonami. Plus, she is a bit taller than Nonami as well, not by much. Nonami is like 6 meters and 2 feet, or 6 meters 3 thereabout, and Taylana would be like 6 meters 3 or 6 meters 4. So she's a bit, which would be in human terms, if she was human size, she would be about 6'4". So yeah, she is huge, really huge. She scored 26 overall, just 1 point above Elegance in this category. Nearly perfect, right? So for the actual designs that I had, because she's a number 1, I wanted to do an extra pose. Unlike the others, she has 3 distinctly different camera shots. There's the full body pose, which, as I stated before, these outfits are not necessarily what they wear in the book itself. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if when the animation comes out there will be any such scene, but there isn't a scene in the story that has Taylana wearing this extremely revealing outfit. I got this off the net, honestly. I just made a few tweaks and dropped it in. But overall, this is how she look. This is really close to the color scheme that I have in mind. Her hair may have the yellow on her hair may end up being more muted when the official color scheme comes out. But basically, she's just doing a pretty fancy and proud sexual standing pose, hand on her hips, her left leg slightly raised. You can see her feet clearly. And then we have from the upper thigh area going upward, you can see the gap there. You can see the bulges there. You can see the huge hips, huge boobs. You can see the hair is pretty, straight, and red roots at the top, and then there's a yellowish highlight, yellow highlight, greenish type of streaks in her hair as well. So yeah, so I'm really proud of putting her at number 1. I made this list objectively. I did not know going in who would be number 1, honestly. I just tried to be objective, and this is what we end up with. We ended up with Taylana Mariani, the princess of the realm of Titans, MC of POV2, the second arc, Titan of Stage Controller, from the 11 Key series, from the Ultra Dale Universe franchise. check it out. Check her out. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. Her BWH would be her BWH would be this is stuff, but again, these are not official. I've said this multiple times already. These are not official measurements. Will be revealed at a later date. But just going off the top of my head right now, if she was human size and she was in the world of reality, I would say that her BWH would be 40. Yeah, we're definitely in the 40s. I would say 40. She's 19 years old as well. 19 and a half technically at the start of the first storyline. So, but anyway, I would say that she is 43, 25, and 42. That would just be my wild guess, right? But anyway, that is it. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this little presentation, me talking about my original characters, basically trying to bridge the gap between sharing original artwork with how to design attractive alien female characters or extraterrestrial female characters, because a lot of these characters, you can see that they are, I guess with the exception of Kimika and Nai, maybe, a lot of them have traits, physical traits that are similar to humans, and I think that was I think a decent idea. There are other races and other species and so on in my world, in the 11 Keys world. But and I forgot Tish. But so there are a lot of different things that you can give your characters for them to, come across as being alien or fictitious. It doesn't have to be like, you don't have to, you can go crazy on it if you want, but a lot of the times we picture aliens or extraterrestrials as just, the generic green skin, huge head, huge slanted black eyes or whatever. But yeah, so that's one of the reasons why the word alien is, I don't think I even use that word in Stage Controller, honestly, because if you know what the word alien actually means, you'll understand why I didn't do that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Really hope you guys enjoy this. Catch you in the next one.